So this means that the entire narrative that Blake Lively created about this smear campaign could collapse. Hi and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Kerstin Flo, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood working as an entertainment reporter, and as you know, a lot about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's legal drama. First of all, I have to say thank you again so much, you guys, for sending me all these amazing tips and for sending me so much encouragement and for commenting and liking my song. Congrats on your little bump. I did add the lyrics of the song in the comments below the song. So if you want to try and sing it yourself, I am encouraging people to do a karaoke version of it and send it to me. And then I can show it here on my channel. So if you're up for a little challenge and want to get some frustration out by singing, then please do. You can email it to flossomtalk@gmail.com. My email is also in the description of this video. Anyways, there's so much going on behind the scenes now. I don't know what's true and what's not true, what's real and what's not real, but there are some things moving now that could really have a huge impact on this case. But before I talk about that, I just wanted to show you guys this video that someone sent me. This is exclusive for Blossom Talk, by the way. He sent me this video when he met Jay Leno the other day, and he asked him about Blake Lively. I don't know if you saw my video where I asked Jay Leno about Blake Lively a few months ago. I'll show you that later. Everyone knows who Jay Leno is. And what's special about Jay Leno is that everyone likes him. He's a very sympathetic guy. I've met so many people who said that Jay Leno is just like, he's just well liked everywhere. So for him to say something like this about Blake Lively, I think is major, and it's really showing where Hollywood stands. Really, when it comes to her, I feel like someone like Jay Leno is very careful with what he says. He doesn't want to take a stand like most people in the entertainment industry. So this video, I think, says it all.
All right. Jay, you gonna have Blake on your bike, man?
Huh?
Any chances of picking up Blake Lively and having her on the back of this?
Never happened.
Maybe Justin has a better chance.
Huh?
Justin Baldoni might have a better chance as a guy, man.
I think everybody has a better chance.
Wow, thanks, Jay. You're the best, man. All right, man.
Yeah, so if you missed that, this photographer said to Jay Leno, any chance of you picking up Blake Lively on your bike? And he said, that would never happen. And he said, maybe Justin Baldoni has a better chance. And Jay Leno said, everybody has a better chance than her. I mean, when I watched that, I was like, wow. He is saying what everybody else is thinking right now. No one wants to have Blake Lively on their bike. That's for sure. And I know you guys, of course, because you watch my show. I mean, I know that most of you guys are obviously on Justin Baldoni's side here, and you can tell what's true and what's not true. But coming from someone as major as Jay Leno, I think this is like, yeah. You know, Hollywood is known to protecting its own until it doesn't. And when someone on the inside starts distancing themselves like he's doing here, I think that is a huge sign. And maybe, you know, others will follow and be more open and vocal about how they really feel about this. There are like comedians that be joking around. There's been like here and there little digs at her on talk shows, but not really anything like this. So thank you, Jay Leno, for being honest. As I said, I met him, I think it was in October. I met him for, he was a part of this movie, and I got to interview him. It was an amazing interview. So I had him for like 20 minutes, and I asked him about Blake Lively back then, and then he said this. Are you following the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively drama?
Yeah, no, that doesn't really, that just seems silly to me. I don't know. I can't say. You know, California is on fire. I don't know how many people are coughing through the flames trying to follow Blake Lively. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know.
I was the one who did that viral video, the viral interview with her. Did you watch that?
Oh no!
When she was not behaving so nice to me.
You know something? I read about it, but I didn't get a chance to click on that. But I will click on it now.
He's gonna
I will
watch my
find
video.
out what's happening here. Yes.
So yeah, he wasn't willing really to take a stand, but you could see on his face that he was like, yeah, okay. As he was talking about that, there were fires in LA at that time, so people were thinking about other things than Blake Lively. But now Jay Leno has made his stand, and he's definitely not Team Blake Lively. And I have to emphasize again that Jay Leno is such a respected guy in the industry. And also, he's such a nice human being. I think I have people that live in his neighborhood, and they say he's always out and about in his cars because he collects cars and he's very into cars. And he's always being so nice to people. He's always waving, you know, making jokes. I could just feel his vibe as well when I went to this screening of this movie. He came over afterwards and offered me popcorn if I wanted to share his popcorn. You know, the way he was talking to everyone, I was like, okay, Jay Leno is a really, really cool guy. And also, I don't know if you know this, but his wife was diagnosed with dementia, and he's spending time with her, taking care of her, because he really wants to be with her instead of putting her in a home and let other people take care of her, which I understand a lot of people do. But Jay Leno has come out and said, you know, I love her and I want to be with her. And I think that's so beautiful. And I think it says a lot about what kind of person he is. Anyway, as I said, there are some developments going on now. There's so many new things in the docket, as they say, every day when people are filing new things. And what everyone's been talking about the last few days is the Vanzan lawsuit. It's called the Vanzan company, but it's got the nickname now Vansham because everyone says it is a sham. But before I get into that, I wanted to thank the sponsor of this video, FaceApp. So full disclosure, I don't believe in altering your appearance or chasing perfection in any way. But I also know how frustrating it can be to spend hours in Photoshop trying to get the perfect picture of yourself. And that's why I love having the option to use FaceApp. I use it to alter small little things before I post, for example, a thumbnail on YouTube to make it pop a little bit more. Like you see here, you can even add a little makeup. If you're feeling lazy and you don't want to put makeup on, it will do it for you. You can also try different hairdos and stuff like that, which is of course fun. But if you want to use it more professionally, it's perfect if you're a creator or an influencer, or if you just want to have nice looking pictures of yourself. It gives you options to use simple editor tools to make little touch-ups, whether it's fixing lighting, softening a blemish, or helping you feel a little more confident about a picture before you post it. So what I like about it is that it's not promoting some unrealistic version of beauty. It's more about showing the best version of yourself. So if you want a quick, intuitive way to enhance your photos, you should check out FaceApp. Click on the link in my description or scan the QR code to download FaceApp and try the Pro version for free for 1 week. Available at App Store and Google Play. Yes, so back to Vansham. So there's been so much fighting going back and forth because Vanzan and Blake Lively's team don't want anyone to see the subpoenas that were sent to Stephanie Jones. Just to remind everyone, what happened was that a company called Vanzan all of a sudden sued 10 anonymous people that they call Joe Does or Jane Does, basically. And they sent a subpoena to Stephanie Jones. And then that ended up being Stephanie Jones taking Jennifer Abel's phone, who used to work for her at that point and was about to leave the company. So she took her phone and she accessed everything on her phone. And somehow all of this information ended up in Blake Lively's team's hands. And then voila, it was all in the New York Times. So this entire process, a lot of people have started asking questions about it. And this whole sham lawsuit was brought to light just a couple of months ago. But now Justin Baldoni's team and obviously Jennifer Abel, who owned the phone, is saying, we want to see the documents that ended up with you guys sending a subpoena to Stephanie Jones. And we want to see the original subpoena that was sent to Stephanie Jones, because I think Jennifer Abel never even saw a subpoena. And apparently they showed it to the Daily Mail, I think, and Deadline, but they're not willing to show it to Justin Baldoni's legal team. Apparently, they've showed some parts of this that they curated and said that, oh, hey, Judge, we sent you this already like a month ago, so you don't need anything else from us. And then also Blake Lively's team is making sure that they're distancing themselves from Vanzan and saying they're a third entity, they're a completely different company. We really have nothing to do with that, which sounds also a little suspicious. So yes, the documents that they have received already regarding Vanzan did not come from Vanzan directly. It came from Blake Lively's team, who I'm sure are very good at cherry picking things, as we know. And I'm sure they were great at picking out things from that they thought, wouldn't get them into trouble. And of course, that's not good enough for Baldoni's team. They want to see all the communications surrounding this lawsuit, sham lawsuit, as they call it. Also, a part of this is that Leslie Sloan, Blake Lively's publicist, was known to have called Melissa Nathan before the subpoena was even handed over to Stephanie Jones, saying to Melissa Nathan that I've seen the texts and you're going down, basically, meaning that Leslie Sloan had already seen this information before there was an official subpoena, meaning that somehow this information got to her. The problem with that information is that this was a phone call. It wasn't text messages, so there's no hard proof of that phone call. I'm sure that they can find out the logs of the phone calls and that she called, but then Melissa Nathan is going to have issues with proving that was what that conversation was about. I've been asking myself this because the first time I heard about this sham lawsuit, I was like, wow, why would they do this? Because they knew that at one point they would have to explain how they got the information from Jennifer Abel's phone. So as I said, Blake Lively's team is trying to distance themselves a little bit from Vanzan, saying that their firm does not represent Vanzan and they have different lawyers than Blake Lively. Blake Lively has 2 companies representing her. One is Wilkie Farr and Gallagher, and the other one is Manet, Phelps and Phillips. I am wondering how high her legal bills are going to be here. So by saying that, they could always say that, oh, that was Vanzan who was running that subpoena. It had nothing to do with us. But also, as we found out a few months ago, the person who owns Vanzan is Blake Lively, and I think also Ryan Reynolds. At least it is linked to the 2 of them. So, of course, that's what part of their legal strategy here. So now Jennifer Abel has sent a new letter to the judge asking him to tell them that you have to do as we say now, you have to give me these papers. She has sent a motion to compel. So this means that if they have to send all this information to the judge and we can see everything that happened, I think no one's in doubt of what has happened here. The judge could rule that the evidence that came from that lawsuit, that sham lawsuit, and that subpoena is not admissible in court, meaning that all the text messages that they got from Jennifer Abel's phone and emails that was their only proof of a smear campaign could be tossed out. That means that Blake Lively has 0 evidence of anything ever going on with that smear campaign. So what does this mean? She's losing all the evidence basically that she had in that CRD complaint and in that New York Times article. So if this evidence cannot be used in court, that is major. So if Justin Baldoni's team can prove that this subpoena on this sham lawsuit was used to intimidate and harass and not for legitimate legal reasons, the judge can not only throw out the evidence, but he can also sanction the parties who filed it, including Vanzan, and maybe also Blake Lively's team. So this means that the entire narrative that Blake Lively created about this smear campaign could collapse. So they built this case on a very shaky legal ground to begin with, and now it's going to backfire. The interesting thing here is that Blake Lively's team already admitted that they have used a shell company. Calling this normal procedure is like calling to have a burner phone in your office normal. Worst case scenario, the judge could also rule this as abuse of process. That could lead to monetary sanctions, a formal reprimand, or even striking their claims altogether, meaning that could remove part of Blake Lively's case. I don't know how likely that is to happen, but these things are possible with so much evidence tossed and their shady tactics exposed. Blake Lively might have to drop her claims. Maybe she will have to settle under very unfavorable terms or even face a judgment against them. Maybe the legal system isn't built for justice, but just built for the people who play it best. I mean, look at Bill Cosby. I think it was 80 women coming out against him. And what happened? He got out because of a technicality. Everyone knows he's guilty of all the things that he did. So many women came forward. I watched the documentary. These things really makes me so sad because as I can't even imagine what it must feel like for those victims of Bill Cosby. And now I can't even imagine what it feels like for Justin Baldoni and his family and all the other people involved. Even the publicists, you know, they've been dragged into this and dragged through the media and through the mud. It's awful. So I really hope that finally the judge can make a good decision and say, Vanzan, you need to show all communications with Blake Lively's team and all communications with Stephanie Jones, and we can all sleep better at nights. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and thanks again for your support. You are so amazing. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Flawsome Talk. And I'll see you in my next one. And tomorrow is my podcast episode number 5 out. So stay tuned for that. I'm super excited about the subject that I'm going to talk about. So yes, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.